back to your Dream Coach podcast. I'm Shayla Wey, and today we are doing something a little different. Today we are not going to talk about strategy. We're not going to talk about hiring or culture or leadership frameworks. Today we're going to stop and we are going to look at the thing that all of those episodes are ultimately in service of, the dream. And specifically, I want to ask you a question that I think every business owner needs to sit with at least once or twice a year, and that most of us are too busy to actually answer honestly. Is the business you are currently building still built around what you actually want? Not what you wanted when you started, not what looks impressive from the outside, and not what you told investors or clients or your team, what you actually want. The life that you actually want to be living, the work that actually energizes you, and the version of success that would feel like success, not just achievement. So today I want to walk you through what I call the Dream Audit. 7 questions, honest answers only. And by the end of this episode, you will know exactly whether the business you are running is still aligned with the dream that you are living or something needs to shift. So find somewhere quiet if you can. If you're listening in your car, you can always circle back and have something to write with too, so that you can take a lot of value from this episode. This one is definitely worth your full attention. Before we get into the questions, I do want to just spend a few minutes on why this audit matters, because I think most entrepreneurs assume that if they are working hard, growing the business and hitting their goals, then by definition, they must be on track. But hard work and growth and goal achievement are not the same thing as alignment. And misalignment, that quiet, creeping kind that builds up gradually over months or years, is one of the most expensive things a business owner can carry without noticing. And here's how it usually happens. You start a business with a specific dream, a specific vision for what your work will look like, who you'll serve, what your days will feel like, what the business will give to your life. And then the business starts to grow, clients arrive, opportunities show up. The market responds to certain things and not others. You adjust, you pivot, you follow the money or the momentum or the path of least resistance. And one day you look up and you realize the business is doing well. By every external measure, it is succeeding. And something still feels off, not dramatically and not in a way that you can easily name, just a quiet, persistent sense that the business that you are running is not quite the one you set up to build. And that feeling is not ingratitude. It's not in weakness. It's in information. It's information, and it is your dream telling you that somewhere along the way, the business drifted from it. And the dream audit is how you find out exactly where. The most dangerous place to be in business is successful at the wrong thing. And so I want you to grab a pen or open up a notes app. If you're driving, you can just think about these questions and circle back later. But these 7 questions are designed to be answered honestly, not quickly. And so if you're driving, come back and do this part again when you can actually write this down. But this is how valuable I think that this exercise is. So question number 1 is, if I designed my ideal work week from scratch, how different would it look from my current reality? And this question cuts right into the heart of alignment, not what your work week needs to look like to keep running the business, but what you would design if you were building from your dream instead of reacting to your current structure. Where are the biggest gaps between what you designed and what you are actually living? Those gaps are where the drift has happened. Question number 2 is, who am I serving right now? And are they still the people I most want to serve? Sometimes we start with one ideal client and end up serving a completely different one because that is who showed up, who could pay, who responded to our marketing. There's nothing wrong with the evolution, but it is worth asking honestly, are the people I'm spending my days serving the people whose problems genuinely excite me? Or have I drifted into a market that is profitable but does not light me up? The dream does not just care about revenue. It cares about who you are building for. Question 3 is, what part of my work do I genuinely love? And am I doing enough of it? And this is a question most business owners never ask because the answer sort of feels self-indulgent. But it is one of the most strategically important questions that you can ask. Because the work you love is almost always the work you do best. It is where your genius lives. And if the business has evolved in a way that takes you further and further from that work, if you are spending most of your time on things that drain you rather than fuel you, the business is not supporting the dream. It's consuming it. And that's a good reflection to have. Number 4 is the business giving to my life or taking away from it? And that is the fulfillment question. And it is one most entrepreneurs find hardest to answer honestly, because the grinding, sacrificial narrative of entrepreneurship makes it feel like taking from your life is just part of the deal. But it's not, or at least it should not be permanent. The dream you wrote down was not just building a business. It was about building a life. And the business is supposed to be in service of that life, not the other way around, right? Is it? Right? Now, honestly, is it? And be honest. Question number 5 is, what would you stop doing tomorrow if you could? And why haven't you? This question reveals what you've been tolerating. The client who drains you that you've not released, the service line that is profitable but joyless, the operational task that you do every week that should have been delegated or systemized long ago, the direction that you are still heading in because of momentum rather than intention. And whatever came to mind first when you read that question, that's your answer. And the second part is, why haven't I? And that is where the real work lives. Question 6, is the person that you are becoming through running this business someone that you like? And this is the identity question. And it's one question that I find the most powerful, because business has a way of shaping us. The pressure, the decisions, the responsibility, the culture we swim in every day, all of it leaves a mark. And sometimes that mark is beautiful, sometimes it's not. So ask yourself, is the version of you that is emerging through the daily reality of running this business, is that a version of you that you are proud of? Are you becoming more patient or less? More genuine or more guarded? More aligned with your values or more willing to compromise them? The business should be growing the person. And if it is shrinking them, something needs to change. And the last question, question 7, is, if you knew the business would look exactly like this in 3 years, would you be okay with that? This is the ultimate alignment question. And not whether the business will be bigger or more profitable in 3 years, whether if nothing fundamental changed. If this were just the larger, more established version of what you currently have, you would feel genuinely good about it. If that answer is yes, with real conviction, you are building an alignment with your dream. And if the answer is anything less than that, a hesitation, a quiet no, a yes, but with a long list of qualifiers, then you have your next direction. So now that you've done the audit, and you may want to circle back, after and give this some more thought, but you've sat with these questions and you have some honest answers. Now what do we do? Well, I want to give you 3 things to do with what you've just discovered. The first thing is, do not catastrophize. If some of the answers revealed some real misalignment, if you maybe notice gaps between the business that you're running and the dream that you originally set out to build, resist the urge to spiral. This is not a crisis. It's information. And information is the beginning of intentional change, not a verdict on whether the whole thing has been a mistake. Every business owner has been building for more than a few years that has a drift. It's inevitable. And the question is not whether drift happened, it is whether you are willing to look at it and correct course. The second thing is to name the one thing that needs to change most. So don't try to fix everything at once. Look at your audit answers and identify the single biggest misalignment. The one that, if you addressed it, would have the greatest impact on how aligned the business feels when with that life you actually really want. And maybe it is the type of client that you are serving. Maybe it is how you're spending your time. Maybe it's a direction the business has drifted in that no longer reflects your values, and just name it, write it down, and that is your next move. And the third thing is to reconnect with the original dream. Go back to episode 156 if you have not already, or just close your eyes right now and spend 2 minutes with the question, what did I actually set out to build? Not what the business became or what you originally dreamed. Let that dream speak to you again. And then ask, is there a way to bring the current reality closer to that original vision? Sometimes the answer is a small shift. Sometimes it's a bigger one. But it almost always starts with reconnecting to why that started all of it. Connecting to that why this all started. So this, by the way, is not just a one-time exercise. It's timely because we're halfway through 2026, but this is a practice. And I recommend doing this twice a year, once now at the mid-year mark, and then again at the end of the year. You could even do it quarterly, but just build this into your calendar the same way you build in financial reviews and team check-ins, is your dream deserves that level of intention. And I want to close with something that I come back to often in my own life and in my own coaching work. Building a business is one of the hardest things a person can do. It requires everything you have, your time, your energy, your creativity, your courage, your willingness to keep going when nothing is certain. And because it requires so much, it deserves to be pointed at something you actually want. Not something you think you should want, not something impressive, not something that looks good from the outside, something that is genuinely, deeply, personally yours. That is the dream. And the dream audit is just the practice of making sure you've not lost sight of it in the building. And if you did this audit today and something came up for you, something that needs examining or shifting or just being honest about, I would love to hear from you. Send me a message on Instagram. Tell me what you found. These conversations are why the show exists. And if this episode was useful, please share it. Send it to the entrepreneur in your life who is building hard and might need permission to check in with the dream behind all of it. And that's the gift of this episode. Review on Apple Podcasts, still very much appreciated. 3 minutes, real impact, genuine gratitude from me every single time. Next episode, we're going into one of the most powerful fulfillment topics that I've covered yet. And that's really around why fulfilled leaders build better businesses and the evidence behind why joy is not a luxury in your leadership. It really is a strategy. And so until then, keep dreaming big, leading better, and I will see you next time on your Dream Coach podcast.